Anyway, hey guys, people are always saying, hey, what does it sound like? Play your guitar. Let me hear what it sounds like. Anyway, I played my guitar. You hear what it sounds like. That's pretty much how I sound a lot of the time. That's my tone, as people would say. But anyway, the reason I'm here is a kind of a long story. And it goes back to COVID. When the pandemic was on, all we could do really was stay inside and watch TV, and TV got really boring. And during that time, I kind of discovered, YouTube and guitar creators on YouTube. So, me and my partner decided that, we could watch all these different things and see who's interesting. And always been a creator, so it kind of got the bug that maybe we could do some kind of online thing. And it led to a whole marketing business and stuff. But I always kind of wanted to talk about guitars because I got a lot of guitars. I like guitars. I know people like guitars. So there was some creators that I watched and I followed. Some I admired, some I thought, nah, but they all were really talented. And they were really good players and they could play on cue and they could do stuff, but a lot of them kind of rubbed me a little bit the wrong way with their attitude towards music and guitars. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and there was a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of snobbery. I wasn't like a particular, like a rich kid or anything. So anything I got, I was really proud to have. And people were always running down my equipment and junk that I had, saying that my stuff sucked and I sucked and whatever. So I always kind of had my back up against guys like that. So, but there were some creators that I really liked, some that I just thought they spoke to me and they kind of gave me the impetus to think that I could do it myself. One of those was Guitar Max. Guitar Max is a cool guy. He seems cool anyway. He's always talking about affordable guitars that play well, sound well, look cool, and regular guys can play them and gig them and do whatever they want with it. And it got to be a lot of cool guitars that I found out about. Now Max was kind of cool. He had great hair, got big arms, had a good gimmick. I think he opened a box with a giant sword once, and that kind of sucked me in. And from then on, I subscribed. But I really wanted to get into this to tell stories about guitars, my playing stuff, the days I was playing out, and the guitars that I have and the guitars that I like. Anyone who's passionate about guitar and playing and just loves music and the whole environment, I thought I'd like to talk to the people like that, and I'd like to be one of those guys. So to that end, on our Culture Junkie podcast, we had Luke Miller on. Luke I met online, and he's a interesting dude, and he's got a whole pile of guitars. And I spoke with Luke, and it was really interesting to hear his take and how he's doing and what he's done. But I thought, well, I can do that. I can interview him. I can speak to my own stuff as well. So I was looking around to see what kind of style I would have, and I saw this guy, Mike Cole. And Mike Cole, if you haven't seen his stuff, he looks like younger than me if I never hit the gym, if I was a bit nerdier, and if I was an American. I think I would be that guy. Anyway, Mike loves guitar and he's interested in stuff, and that enthusiasm comes through in everything he does. So I just watch that guy religiously. Even if he is a nerd, he's very nice. Seems like a good dude. Anyway, so that brings me to today. I got this one here I wanted to talk about. This is a Tokai TTE-50 Breezy sound that I got when I was 20 years old back in 1983. I saw it at Long and McQuaid. Long and McQuaid is the music store in Toronto. And I was there and I was always hanging around like you were when you're a kid. You've got your guitar already, but you just go to the music store and stare up at the walls and see, oh my God, this is so cool. I love this so much. I wish I had the money to get it. And I saw this guy hanging. It didn't have the Body Snatchers logo on it. I did that. But it had the white pick guard and it was like this. It was pristine. It's relic now. Now that it's like 42 years old, it's got a few nicks in it, but it just stood out. It was so amazing. I didn't even have the money to buy it. I had to borrow it from my little brother. I borrowed the money from him and I bought this guitar, and it's been my number one backup guitar whenever I play for about 40 years. I love it, but it doesn't have a humbucker in the bridge position, and I love that. So I always play a Strat, but this is always my second choice. So if you see me ever playing out in a picture or a gig video or something, and I'm playing this one, something's happened to my real guitar, my number one, and I've ended up playing this. It sounds great. I got the phaser going today, and it just suits the stuff that I usually play. I play a lot of I play a lot of reggae-ish stuff. I love ska. I play some 80s tunes in the bands I'm in. And more often than not, this is what it comes back to and stuff like that. It's what I do, it's what I like. And one of these days I'm gonna frame it and hang it on the wall. But for now, this is a fabulous guitar. Tokai made real copyright infringing copies of Fender Gibson stuff back in the 70s and 80s. This is technically, I think, a lawsuit guitar, but these are fabulous. They're really well made. It's as good as any Fender I have. It's a keeper. Anyway, so you check it out here. It's got the 50s style 6-saddle bridge, absolutely professionally wound, and neck pickups. This is really a faithful reproduction of I think it's a 57 Telly, even down to the knobs, old style knobs and the great big chunky toggle switch here. It's amazing guitar. It really is. Maple neck. Maple neck's got the original style skunk stripe back there. Look, there's the root. There it is. Yeah, see my spots where I smacked it up. I think I might even hit my brother with it at one point. All that kind of stuff. This is what it's like to have a guitar that someone's actually played and used for the last 40 years. A lot of relics I see for sale and people do jobs. I guess some guys like it. Listen, to each his own, but they look like they've been dragged behind a truck down the country road. And, I've had guitars for a long time and none of them ever get that scuffed up. I'd be beside myself if I let it get that bad. But they're real dings, they're real scratches, and there's real swirls from when I smack it around. Now, if anyone's wondering, this logo here, this is a ska band from the late 70s, early 80s, from England, of course, called the Body Snatchers. And they're all female band. They had some really cool songs and they had a great thing. But the logo, this thing, I thought was the coolest thing. If you can't tell, if you're looking at it funny, it's a giant hand grabbing a guy and snatching him up, taking him into the spaceship or whatever. Who knows what they're doing, but that's what was going on there. Anyhow, this guitar, the logo, that's from 1980, 81. It's really cool. Band does no longer exist. I don't think they've even done a reunion show like every other band in the world. But hey, what can you do? This is where we are. It's a very cool logo. Too much phaser on that one. If I could reach all the way over there, I'd adjust it, but I'm too lazy. Anyway, thanks for listening. See me next time. Talk about a different guitar. Talk about different stuff. Cheers.